wait for the bell to pass.
Okay.
Okay. Just write something here. Okay. Okay. Bonjour. Today we're going to start out and we will take a look at the vocabulaire de voyage sur la page 189 et 180, pardon, 190 et 191. 190, 191. Il y a de vocabulaire que nous savons. There's a lot of the stuff we've seen before, but there are some new expressions, particularly having to do with going through customs, for example. If you travel over to another country, any other country, you have to do what's called going through customs, where you basically just go through a point check, and you, if you have anything special that you're bringing in or out of the country, you have to declare it publicly. Things like plants or animals or things like that. It's just as a safety precaution. So there's some vocabulary that has to do with that. And so I'm going to give you a few minutes just to read through this vocabulary and écrivez les nouveaux mots et phrases. Write down the words or phrases that are new to you, that you haven't seen before. And then we'll do a few exercises.
Everyone.
Okay, bon. All right, les voyages. We have the noun and we have the verb. The verb is voyager, which we already know, a regular ER verb. Okay, so voyager is to travel. And then we have the noun en voyage, which means a trip. And a lot of times in French, if someone is getting ready to go on a trip, people will say the well wish bon voyage, which you've probably heard before, I'm sure, which means like have a nice trip or have a good trip. So, en voyage is the noun. Okay, bien. Voilà, okay, so underneath les voyages, we have the question, où vas-tu aller cet été? What is this question asking?
Where are you going to summer?
Yeah, where are you going to go this summer? And so it says, I'm going to travel, je vais voyager. Another way of saying voyager is, je vais faire un voyage. I'm going to make a trip or take a trip. Or je vais faire un séjour. Répétez un séjour. En séjour, to spend some time. So typically, en séjour is followed with the place where you're going to be spending time. Je vais faire un séjour en Alaska. Je vais faire un séjour en Floride, etc. And to tack on something even further, to specifically say I'm going to travel abroad, the expression is à l'étranger. Répétez.
À l'étranger.
L'étranger, good. Okay, and then the other person says, oh, bon, oh, really? To what countries are you going? Dans quel pays? Pays, with an S, is both the spelling for the singular and the plural form of country. So, un pays, a country, and then des pays or les pays, same spelling, would mean countries, plural. So that's something that's often confusing for people. The spelling doesn't change there. En pays. Voila. And then they have a few country words here. Je vais visiter, I'm going to visit. Je vais visiter le Portugal. Répétez, le Portugal.
Le Portugal.
La Grèce.
La Grèce.
Les Canaries.
Les Canaries.
Les Canaries, I believe, are a set of islands in the, shoot, I can't remember which body of water right now, I'll have to look it up in the back. And then we also have, depending on which verb you're using, in English we say I'm going to go to the United States. I'm going to go to Florida. And so when you're using the verb aller, you'll want to use a preposition before the place that you're traveling to. So, je vais aller au Canada, for example. Because you don't want to say I'm going to go Canada, right? That would make sense. So you have to say I'm going to go to Canada, or to the Canada, as the French say. So here we have au, which is just a combination of a plus le, if you remember those. If you're going to travel to a country that is feminine, like la France, then the preposition term that you use is a little bit different. For feminine countries, we use en in front of them, as opposed to au for masculine countries. So I'm going to visit France, or I'm going to go to France, we'd say je vais aller en France. And then typically for cities, I'm going to go to Paris, for example. For cities, we always use a, just a in front of them. So I'm traveling to Paris, je voyage à Paris. I'm going to New York, à New York. There's no other article that accompanies it. Okay? Similarly, if you're talking about returning from a place, you'd want to use a form of de, or de la, or du. And we've seen that before. Okay, good. So, and the second grouping we have, je vais aller au Mexique. I'm going to go to Mexico. Répétez, au Mexique.
Au Mexique.
I'm going to go to Russia. En Russie.
En Russie.
To the United States. Aux États-Unis.
Aux États-Unis.
Yeah. Okay, good. In the back of the book, there are a lot of different appendixes and reference charts, and I can't remember if I've pointed them out to your class before or not, but on page R14, there's an appendix that has many of the countries in the world, kind of the major ones that we tend to talk about in everyday conversation. And so up at the top, it's divided into the different continents. We have, first of all, l'Amérique du Nord, which would be North America, l'Amérique du Sud, South America, and it gives some kind of major countries within those continents. Then we have l'Afrique, and here they list mostly, besides, with the exception of Egypt, all of these countries that they're listing in Africa are members of the Francophonie, so they all have French as a major language. Then Europe, we have some major countries in Europe, and obviously they're all mapped out here, plotted out on the map, so you can see which country relates to which one in English. Then we have le Moyen-Orient, which is like the Middle East, we would call it in English. And then we have l'Asie et l'Océanie, Asia and Oceania. And it gives a little chart here explaining some of the different articles and prepositions to use with different names of countries. So just like I was explaining up here, the first one, when we're talking about visiting a place, we just say, I'm visiting Canada, right? Not I'm visiting to Canada. So in French, we're just going to use a definite article, le, la, or les. So je visite le Canada, je visite la France, or l'Iran. Je visite les États-Unis. But I'm going to a place, or I'm living in a place, or at a place, now we have to use au or en. So je vais au Canada, j'habite au Canada, je vais en France, je vais en Iran, je vais aux États-Unis. And then similarly, I'm coming from Canada, je viens du Canada, je viens de France, je viens des États-Unis. So they all match up, it's just a matter of what you want to say in English. Okay, well, we'll flip back to this a little bit later on for one of our exercises. Okay, turn back to 191. Over on 191, we have some other expressions here. Au contrôle de passeport, at the passport control desk. The clerk might ask, vous avez une pièce d'identité? Do you have some form of identification? Répétez, Marie, une pièce.
Une pièce
D'identité.
d'identité.
Good. And you might say, oui, j'ai un passeport.
Un passeport.
Une carte d'identité.
Une carte d'identité.
Un permis de conduire.
Un permis de conduire.
Good. So, un passeport, évidemment, ça veut dire passport. Une carte d'identité, ID, and then permis de conduire, driver's license. Voilà. Then, à la douane, at customs. Répétez, à la douane.
À la douane.
Good. They might ask, vous avez des bagages? Do you have any luggage? And you would say, oui, j'ai une valise.
Une valise.
Or un sac.
Un sac.
Un bagage à main.
Un bagage à main.
Un sac à dos.
Un sac à dos.
Good. So various pieces of baggage there. And they might, and well, they will ask you if you go through customs, est-ce que vous avez quelque chose à déclarer? Do you have something to declare coming into the country? Répétez, est-ce que vous avez
Est-ce que vous avez
quelque chose à déclarer?
quelque chose à déclarer?
Okay? And then so you'll either say yes, oui, j'ai une plante de France, or j'ai de la nourriture, etc. Or if you don't have anything to declare, you would say non, je n'ai rien. Je n'ai rien. I have nothing to declare. Ne rien is used just like ne pas. It comes right around the first conjugated verb. Répétez, je n'ai rien à déclarer.
Je n'ai rien à déclarer.
Excellent. Ok, bien. Regarde exercice 1, page 190, les voyages à l'étranger, so travels abroad. The directions say, faites une liste de 10 pays que vous aimeriez visiter. Classez les pays par ordre de préférence. Comparez votre liste avec celle de votre partenaire. Vous n'avez pas de partenaire aujourd'hui, mais toi et moi, vous pouvez comparer. And then it says, quels sont les pays qui sont sur toutes les listes? What do you have in common? And then what is only on your list? So, what we'd like for you to do is, first of all, make the list of 10 places, 10 countries you'd like to visit. And then we'll have you elaborate a little bit on that. In fact, we can just have you do that afterwards. Writing some complete sentences saying, for example, I would like to visit Senegal, is the example here, parce que je voudrais mieux connaître l'Afrique, because I would like to better know Africa. So, let's have you make a list first. So we'll have you refer back to R14, R14. I'll give you some time to do that, and then we can discuss why you might want to visit some of these places. Vous avez 10? Ok, bien. Ok, dites-moi votre liste. Go ahead and just read it to me.
La France, l'Italie, l'Inde, like India.
L'Inde. Mm-hmm.
La Chine, l'Australie, l'Angleterre, l'Ireland.
L'Irlande.
Le Brésil,
Mm-hmm.
l'Égypte,
Mm-hmm.
et la Grèce.
Bien, excellent. Ok, maintenant, choisissez deux de ta liste et élaborez un peu. So pick two of your countries that you wrote down and try to explain a little bit why you would like to visit those countries or what you would do there, what you would eat, what you would see.
J'aimerais visiter
L'Inde.
Ok. Parce que j'aime l'architecture.
Ah oui, l'architecture.
Et les couleurs.
Oui.
Et les photos.
Mhm. Bien.
Et
While you're thinking, I'm going to write something on the board. If you want to say, for example, I'd like to go to India because you know their culture is interesting to me, or I'm interested in their culture. The verb to be interested in something is reflexive in French, and so you would say, je m'intéresse à. And then So you could say, je m'intéresse à la culture de Inde, for example. Do I spell that correctly? Is it N-D?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, it's
No,
just
it's just E, okay. Or, you know, I'm interested in ballet, je m'intéresse à ballet, whatever it is.
well, my second one, I think France. So,
Me?
j'aimerais visiter la France
Mhm.
parce que j'aime le langue et je m'intéresse à la culture
Oui, et tu peux pratiquer le français un peu, oui, peut-être avec des personnes, oui. La plupart des gens en France parlent anglais, mais c'est apprécié si vous essayez à parler en français, oui. Ils aiment ça. Ok, bon, excellente. Ok, regarde exercice 2, arriver en France. Cet été, vous faites un grand voyage autour du monde, around the world. Vous arrivez en France après avoir visité plusieurs pays. So you arrive in France after having visited several countries. Vous passez au contrôle de passeport et à la douane. Composez et jouez le dialogue avec votre partenaire. Okay. So first, well, we've got all of the questions here that the agent de passeport would ask you. So what could you say back to them in response? So I'll give you a sec to write out a possible response, or responses rather, and then we'll go through the dialogue. Okay, Penny? Okay, bien. So we'll role play here. Je suis le clerc et vous êtes le voyageur, or voyageuse in this case. Okay, bonjour mademoiselle, avez-vous une pièce d'identité?
Oui, j'ai un passeport.
Quel pays avez-vous visité avant de venir en France?
J'ai visité l'Italie et la Russie.
Et avez-vous des bagages?
J'ai un sac à dos.
Avez-vous quelque chose à déclarer?
Je n'ai rien à déclarer.
Bien. Où avez-vous acheté Où avez-vous acheté quoi, parfum, cette bouteille de parfum?
J'ai acheté les bouteilles de perfume dans l'Italie.
Dans l'Italie. Et où avez-vous acheté ce livre?
J'ai acheté le livre en Russie. Would it be en Russie or en Russie?
En Russie.
Okay.
En can mean in or at or to a place. Yeah. Ok, excellente. Voilà. Merci, mademoiselle, et bon séjour en France. Voilà, so have a good trip in France. Bon, excellente. Let's see here. Il y a une note culturelle dans la boîte bleue, et ça dit, les Américaines qui vont en France ont besoin d'un passeport, et aussi d'un visa s'ils veulent faire un long séjour. Mais les citoyens des pays de l'Union européenne ont besoin seulement d'une pièce d'identité. So this is saying that Americans who are going to France need to have a passport. If you're going to any other country, you need a passport. And if you're going to have a long stay there, like I would say probably past a month or well, maybe past several months, you have to also have a visa. And then, but citizens of the European Union, which includes several different countries, and I can't remember which ones, only need to have like an ID card. And so they did this because obviously over in Europe is not a huge continent, and the countries are, some of them, the size of our states. Like France is really only about the size of Texas. So since it's so tiny, a lot of times people will drive from country to country, or they'll take the train from country to country for vacation, and they don't want to have to go through customs and have their passport checked at every country line. So they'll just have an ID card to get them through. So it makes it a little bit easier there. Est-ce que tu as un passeport? Non, tu n'as pas de passeport. Donc tu n'as pas voyagé à l'étranger? Non? D'accord. Bien. Oui, c'est une bonne expérience. J'ai visité la France 3 fois. J'ai visité la France, j'ai visité le Monaco, et c'était un très très petit pays à côté de la France. Et j'ai visité le Canada aussi, 1, 2, 3 fois. Mais c'est tout. Other than that, I haven't been to any other countries, so je voudrais visiter les autres pays. Ok, excellente. On va finir là. Très bien.
Merci.
De rien. Bon week-end et bonjour Valentine.
Merci.
Tu fais quelque chose avec ton copain pour le Valentine?
Do you remember Rachel Ward?
Oui.
I'm gonna hang out with her.
Ah oui, vraiment?
Yeah.
Excellente.
We're
Excellente.
gonna make dinner and then she's gonna spend the night at my house. So it's fun.
Tell her I said bonjour.
I will.
Merci.